to put the final touches on a spectacular sports Saturday.
Not that I'm one to do this, but let the record show that I called this game drunk before the 2-minute warning in the first half.
She called the game drunk. She was not drunk when she said it.
No, I wasn't. Just be clear on that.
Let's clarify that right
now. The Lions and the Commanders, the 1 seed in the NFC. The Lions doing the hosting here. Tom Brady saying hello to Jaden Daniels. And then the Lions trotting out their legends, Calvin Johnson, Barry Sanders in the house. Barry Sanders would like this. First quarter, his Lions with Jahmyr Gibbs taking that in for the touchdown to make it 7-0 Lions. Now it is 7-3. 3rd and 1, Jared Goff under pressure and hit. Problem is, he's not just hit, and the ball is out. Commanders take over. If only that was the only turnover in the game for Goff. We go to the second. This is where things got really wild. Second quarter. Commanders with a 2nd and 5 from their own 42. Daniels has time, throws deep. De'Ami Brown has got it, and then he's got a gain of 42. 6 catches, 98 yards. And then give it to Brian Robinson. Let him punch it in one of his 2 scores. Commanders jump out to a 10-7 lead. Later in the second, Lions 3rd and 3 from their own 37. Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's a good catch. That's a gain of 34. Later in the drive, we thought that catch was great. This one's even better. Put it in top place. Goff fakes the handoff. Then finds Sam Laporta.
Wow.
One-handed catch for the touchdown. Oh, by the way, Goff is also falling down. Lions go up 14-10. Later in the second, Commanders with a 1st and 10. Daniels, Terry McLaurin. He's like, you can't stop me. You're not going to tackle me. Okay, maybe. Nope. Touchdown. 58 yards. 4 catches, 87 yards. That score, Commanders back out in front, 17-14. Goff now. What can you do? Well, the problem is this. Goff had the time. Quan Martin has the reception. Problem is he doesn't play for the Lions. And then he has space, and he goes in for the score. But I want you to watch what happens to Goff on this play. Dude gets absolutely leveled. Goff, 3 picks, 4 total turnovers. They would take him to the medical tent to check him out. He would return, but in the meantime, Teddy Bridgewater, who hasn't thrown a pass since the 2023 season, gets it to Gibbs, who flips it to Jameson Williams. Okay, well, this is good. Williams, how do we feel about the multiple celebrations from inside the 20?
You should have left it right there.
Lions made it 24-21. 3 minutes left in the half. Commanders with time. Commanders with this. Daniels throwing off that arm again.
Come on.
Showing it off. It's a gain of 38 for Brown. And then give it to Zach Ertz. 3rd and goal from the 6. This is why I called this game drunk. 42 total points in the second quarter, the highest scoring quarter in postseason history. Commanders had a 10-point lead. Now in the third, Goff back in it. Goff flips it. David Montgomery, who passes it to St. Brown, and St. Brown takes off running for a gain of 20. A little trickery there. That worked. That was pretty. That's the kind of thing we expect to see from the Lions. Then later in the drive, 2nd and goal at the 8. Gibbs, give it to your workhorse. Not just this game, all season. That made it 31-28. Commanders with the ball back. Daniels. If he's not throwing it, he's extending the plays, or he's just running himself. 16 carries, 51 yards. That was on 4th and 2. In the 4th, Commanders again going for it on 4th down. Problem is, how many men in blue? 12. That is 1 too many, and it gives the Commanders a fresh set of downs. And on their second one, Robinson punches it in for his 2nd score of the night. Commanders back out in front by 10, 38-28. Later in the 4th, still 38-28. Lions trying another trick play. The problem is, too many tricks does not mean you get the treats. Mike Sainristil comes up with that pick. Commanders take over, and Commanders can now just put it away. Daniels finds McLaurin on that 4th down. Commanders went for it 4 times. They were good on 3 of them. Next play, Jeremy McNichols pounds that in for the score, and that is an upset. Down goes the 1 seed. The Commanders in Detroit take down the Lions 45-31.
I always believe that we could achieve more than what people give us credit for. But, you know, you got to go out there, put in the work. You got to go out there, work daily, get better each and every day. And just put your head down and grind. And by the end of the time of the season, you look up, you might be in a position like this.
The big plays were there for us, and in gotta have it situations we came through. So we're extremely excited for this win, but we're not done yet. We're not satisfied, but we're definitely going to enjoy this one, get a good day off tomorrow, and get ready for whoever we play next week.
He just has a different poise about him than most, and he's a rare competitor. There's no doubt about that. But in those moments, if he was a basketball player, he'd want the last shot. As a ball player, he wants the ball in his hands to make the difference, and he makes great decisions with the football. And that takes real mindfulness. Sometimes the best play may be, hey, I got to throw this away. He uses his legs. But he is a rare competitor for us. But his poise in these tight moments really stands out to us.
He's completely unflappable. What did you call him earlier?
Unfazed?
No, you call him a killer.
A killer.
A stone-cold killer.
Jaden Daniels ends another drought for the Commanders. First winning season since 2015. Check, got that. First playoff win since 2005. That came in the wild card game. Got it, check. And now the team's first NFC Championship appearance since 1991. A season which ended in a Super Bowl win, something the Lions thought they could have had this season.
Can't do that right now. You know, and I told the team that. Look, they know, and I told them, I said, at the end of the day, after all of this, the loss today, I still, you know, I love the guys, and I respect them, and I appreciate everything they've put into it. But you know, it's not the time to talk about what a great year or how many wins. It just, you know, it's because at this moment, I don't think any of us feel that way. You know, the whole point of doing what you do is to get to the show, man. That's why you play this game, and we fell short.
It's a little bit numb, and yeah, trying to process it, and it sucks. And I again, I'm so painfully disappointed and sorry to our fans, and it sucks. This is it's as tough as it gets, and again, I know I'm rambling and repeating myself, but it's hard. It's hard.
Man, you can see it all over their faces. It's another tough ending for the Lions. Detroit set a franchise record with 15 wins this season. They're the top seed in the conference for the first time since seeding began back in 1975. And then they didn't just win games. They absolutely dominated their opponents in the regular season. They scored 68 touchdowns on offense this season, second to only the 2013 Broncos. But unfortunately for the Lions, that same offense committed 5 turnovers in this game against the Commanders and failed to keep up with Washington, which of course put an end to the Lions season. That seems like it was at least on track to attempt to win their first championship since the 50s. So with the loss, the Lions tied the 2011 Packers for the most regular season wins by a team to lose their playoff opener. It's not just the Lions, though, guys. It's the entire NFC North as a whole. The Vikings won 14 games this season. They lost in the playoffs. The Packers, they got in with 11 wins. They were the 7th seed. They lost in the playoffs. 3 teams, 0 wins for the so-called Kings of the North.
So-called. Well, they got taken out by a rookie quarterback. Damon Woody's still with us here on SportsCenter. We've been impressed by this young man all season long. We were impressed what he did in the wild card game. Now he goes into Detroit, takes down the #1 seed. But collectively, as a team, what stood out to you about the win itself against the Lions?
Well, I mean, listen, I think it's the fact that you go into that, like, Detroit is not an easy place to play. It's a very hostile environment. Again, we're talking about a rookie. A rookie going on the road against the #1 seed and coming out with a win. And anyone who watched the game could clearly see nothing fazed Jaden Daniels. The Detroit Lions blitzed on half of his dropbacks. Nothing worked. I don't think they raised his pulse at all, to be honest with you. And he was just back there diagnosing the defense, dropping dimes all over the field. And when he had to use his legs, he used his legs. But couldn't get him off the spot, couldn't phase him. That's a scary combination if you're an opponent trying to face that guy.
And 0 interceptions, 0 sacks.
Right.
They couldn't get to him. They couldn't knock him off his groove.
I think there have been times throughout the season when we've seen him in those big moments, and he's said over and over again, it's just another play. I'm actually starting to believe him now.
I mean,
because I think I was doubting him before. So on the other side of things, you have the Lions team, where the hopes were as high as the expectations. You can't go into this with the number of wins that they had and the season that they had without expecting it to get beyond this game. So if you're talking about like the shock level of this loss, what is it?
It's high. You're shocked. This is a gut punch.
Yeah.
If you're the Detroit Lions. You know, you go week 18, you playing for all the marbles, the number 1 seed against your division rivals in the Minnesota Vikings. You fought tooth and nail. You've had all of these injuries, and you earn the number 1 seed, only to come out in your first game in the playoffs
And do that.
and you lose. Not lose, but get spanked at home against the Washington Commanders with a rookie quarterback. That's, ladies and gentlemen, is what you call a gut punch.
So DC will now move on to the NFC Championship game, where they will face the winner of the Rams-Eagles. One of those two teams will actually host that. There was another game, though, on Saturday.
Game. Yeah.
Sit tight.
Okay.
Yeah, how about this dynamic duo? Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes. It was a history-making day for them as well. Divisional round at home, number 1 seed in the AFC, taking on C.J. Stroud and those Texans. Opening kickoff, here comes KC. Nico Remigio fields it, and then he's got room, he's got tacklers, and then he gets tackled, but the ball comes out. Thankfully, Samaje Perine is there to recover it. And then check out Chris Boyd. A little hyped up, emotions run hard, comes off the field. He just shoots Kelce over the middle, sheds a tackle or two. Down to the 6-yard line, 49-yard reception, his longest catch of the year and his longest in his postseason career. So what do you do from there? You give it to Kareem Hunt. Chiefs take a 13-6 lead into halftime. Third quarter, Houston trying to respond. Stroud feels pressure. Matter of fact, he felt it all day. Scrambles and then takes the hit on the sideline. So Houston's like, yeah, we're good. We've got momentum. Very next play is Joe Mixon into the end zone. That capped off a 15-play, 10-minute scoring drive. It's a 13-12 game because they missed the extra point. Fourth quarter, Mahomes to Kelce. 9th career postseason game with 100 or more receiving yards. That passes Jerry Rice for the most in NFL history. You know who was loving it? His girlfriend.
My kids.
Taylor Swift and
Caitlin Clark
in the building. Kelce, he's got his swagger back. Then Mahomes, colder than a polar bear's toenails. Dude is falling to the ground face forward, finds 8-7, 20th career postseason receiving touchdown. It's the Kelce. That's what he calls it. It's the Kelce. They're up 20-12, and then the pressure starts getting to Stroud. George Kalafdis with the sack there, and then guess what? Does it again here. He had 3 in the game. Kansas City had 8 as a team, and then Stroud gets hepped off the field. Dude was banged up because he kept taking hits, especially on that left knee. So now the Texans set up for a 35-yard field goal to do something because they needed 2 scores, and guess what? He gets blocked. And guess who it was? Leo Chanel. Remember him? He blocked that game-winning potential field goal.
Making a habit of this.
The Chiefs win at 23-14. 7th straight year they're headed to the AFC Championship game. Patrick Mahomes has never lost a divisional game.
It's about everybody, and everybody's winners on this team, and I think that's what makes us special. So it doesn't always have to be an offensive explosion. It doesn't always have to be the defense locking it down. It's just who can find a way to get a win, and how can we do that. And I think that's what makes us a special football team, and we'll try to carry that into next week.
Yeah, I always tell our coaches, don't get used to that. I mean, this is unreal. I tell the fans the same thing. We're very lucky to have him here, and the stuff he's doing just doesn't happen. That's why he's the greatest at doing what he's done in a relatively young career here.
7th playoff appearance for Patrick Mahomes, and the playoff magic continues. He's now won 16 career playoff games, tying Joe Montana for second most all-time behind Tom Brady. He's also already up to 42 career passing touchdowns in the playoffs, already 5th most all-time. But his most impressive accomplishment, leading the Chiefs to a 7th straight AFC Championship game. That's one behind the Patriots all-time record of 8. As far as the Texans are concerned, their season's over. Here's C.J. Stroud.
If this is a down year, another playoff win, play against a great Chiefs team and compete with them, and I'm not saying I'm happy with it, but I'm definitely encouraged and motivated that, there's more for the Texans, on the other side of the hump.
I'm walking out of here discouraged. Like, this one hurts, right? Because I know we're a better football team than we showed today, no matter who we're playing against. Like, to go back and still have to talk about mistakes that we made in this moment, like, yeah, it's discouraging to be here.
All right, Woody, we see Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce doing what they've done so often in their playoff run here. They get a win. They keep moving on now to an AFC Championship game. I feel like all season long we kept saying the Chiefs weren't the Chiefs. They weren't still got the #1 seed. What did you make of this performance, especially coming off a week where they missed out on the wild card?
Well, if you're going to beat the king, you're going to have to bring your A game. And what I mean by that, when you watch that game, special teams. Think about that. Special teams was an absolute disaster for the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
That's why you got to play all 3 phases of the game: offense, defense, and special teams. And you get a kick block, you miss an extra point. I mean, just all types of disasters for the Houston Texans. And you can't do that against a team like the Kansas City Chiefs, who are vying for the three-peat right now. And so between that and obviously C.J. Stroud getting sacked 8 times. And that's a recurring theme from what's been going on with C.J. Stroud this whole season. It's just been under siege all season long as far as protection is concerned. I actually thought the Houston Texans outplayed the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, they did a really good job, like moving the ball up and down the field against that. Outgained them. They were running the ball, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, they didn't make the game-winning plays. And that, to me, is the difference. Patrick Mahomes and company, they don't flinch, and they know when to make the plays that are there to be made.
C.J. Stroud is coming into this season after his rookie season last year, where we were saying things about him like we're saying about Jaden Daniels now. Like, who would have thought anyone could have a rookie season like that? So obviously, the expectations for the Texans and Stroud were incredibly high going into this season. Where do they go from here?
Well, listen, number one, get some guys back healthy. I mean, obviously, Tank Dell suffered that brutal injury to his knee. We don't know if he's going to be available for the upcoming season. Stephon Diggs, tore his ACL. That's another guy, another key component to that wide receiving core. So getting some guys back healthy. But I think most importantly for this Houston Texans team, they gotta bolster that offensive line. To me, that's where it starts with the Houston Texans moving forward. They gotta protect the quarterback better, and they gotta impose their will on teams up front. If they can do that, this team will be one of the teams that we're going to be talking about in the AFC next season.
Yeah, you look at their division, they're still the best team in their division, so you expect them to be in the playoffs yet again next year. Just can they get a little bit better here or there to have a game like this to have a chance to actually win it?
I'm told we're actually out of time, but I really wanted to talk to you about Taylor Swift and the fact that she did not take her gloves off the entire game. I mean, I know it was cold, but there are other people in the box.
I wonder if the window was open in the box.
But
is that why she didn't take her gloves off?
Other people were in there. I just have a theory, like, what are you trying to hide?
She's also always cold, so it's like, why does she have gloves on? We got Damien coming back, and we're not going to talk about Taylor Swift.
Who says we're not going to talk about Taylor?
Bây giờ sẽ móc một mũi tiếp theo nhé, móc một mũi bính này, rồi và móc xuống đây. Đấy, mọi người sẽ móc xuống đây cho mình. Cứ từng mũi một nhé. Rồi sẽ móc tiếp những mũi tiếp theo nhé. Tiếp tục móc này, cứ lần lượt cho đến hết. Tiếp tục móc. Mọi người cứ lần lượt như thế này cho mình cho đến hết nhé. Giờ sẽ móc tiếp những mũi tiếp theo.